Colombia is one of those countries that seems impossible to define with a single image. It is Caribbean beaches and Pacific rainforests, Andean cities and Amazon wilderness, colonial ports and modern skylines. Officially the Republic of Colombia, it sits in the northwestern corner of South America, but its reach extends beyond the mainland through island territories in the Caribbean. With around 52 million people and an area of more than 1.1 million square kilometers, Colombia is not just a large country by size and population. It is a crossroads, between oceans, between regions, between cultures, and between historical eras. To understand Colombia is to understand how geography, indigenous heritage, colonization, conflict, biodiversity, and rapid social change have all shaped one of the most important nations in Latin America. Colombia's geography is one of its defining features. It is the only South American country with coastlines on both the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. To the east it borders Venezuela, to the southeast Brazil, to the south Peru and Ecuador, and to the northwest Panama. This position has made Colombia a natural gateway between South America, Central America, and the wider Atlantic world. But geography here is not simple. The Andes split into multiple mountain ranges across the country, creating valleys, plateaus, and dramatically different climates within relatively short distances. A person can travel from tropical coastline to cool highland capital, from dry desert to dense rainforest, without leaving Colombia. This physical variety has shaped settlement, trade, politics, agriculture, and identity for centuries. Long before Colombia had its modern borders or its Spanish name, the region was home to indigenous peoples and cultures stretching back at least 12,000 years. These societies were not a single civilization, but a wide range of communities adapted to very different environments: Caribbean lowlands, Andean highlands, Amazonian forests, and river valleys. Indigenous peoples developed agriculture, trade networks, spiritual traditions, and complex social systems. Some became known for goldwork, ceramics, textiles, and sophisticated relationships with the land. Their influence did not disappear with colonization. Today, indigenous languages, territories, political movements, and cultural practices remain part of Colombia's national reality. Understanding Colombia's deeper history means recognizing that its story did not begin with Europe, but with millennia of human life before Spanish arrival. Spanish contact began at the end of the 15th century, when explorers reached La Guajira in 1499. Over the following decades, Spanish forces moved inland and colonized much of what is now Colombia. The region became part of the Spanish Empire as the new Kingdom of Granada. Colonization brought cities, Catholic institutions, forced labor systems, European legal structures, and new economic priorities. It also brought violence, disease, dispossession, and the reshaping of indigenous societies. Cartagena became a major Caribbean port, while highland centers developed around administration, religion, and trade. The colonial period also brought enslaved Africans to the region, creating a society formed by indigenous, European, and African roots. This fusion, unequal and often brutal in origin, became central to Colombia's language, music, food, religion, and identity. Colombia's road to independence was long and unstable. In 1810, independence from Spain was declared, but the process was not immediately secure. The region went through political fragmentation, internal rivalries, and Spanish reconquest before independence was firmly won in 1819. That victory opened the era of Gran Colombia, a large republic associated with Simón Bolívar that included much of present-day Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama. Gran Colombia represented a grand vision of a united northern South America, but it did not last. Regional tensions, political disagreements, and practical challenges led to its breakup. What remained would continue experimenting with political structures, including federal systems like the Granadine Confederation and the United States of Colombia, before becoming a centralized republic in 1886. Modern Colombia's borders were shaped not only by independence, but by loss. One of the most significant moments came in 1903, when Panama separated from Colombia with the backing of the United States and France. The secession was closely tied to the strategic importance of building an interoceanic canal. For Colombia, the loss of Panama fixed the country's present borders and left a lasting mark on national memory. Internally, Colombia was divided into departments, today numbering 32, along with the capital district of Bogotá. This structure reflects the challenge of governing a country where mountains, jungles, coasts, and plains can isolate regions from one another. Colombian politics has often been a struggle between central authority and strong regional identities. Bogotá, Colombia's capital and largest city, sits high in the Andes and functions as the country's main political, financial, and cultural hub. Its altitude gives it a cool climate very different from the tropical image many outsiders associate with Colombia. Bogotá concentrates universities, government institutions, museums, business headquarters, and media industries. But Colombia is not a one-city country. Medellín, once internationally associated with violence, has become known for urban innovation, public transportation, and social investment. Cali is famous for salsa culture and its role in the Southwest. Barranquilla and Cartagena connect Colombia to the Caribbean, while cities like Bucaramanga, Pereira, Santa Marta, Cúcuta, Ibagué, Villavicencio, and Manizales each anchor distinct regional economies and identities. Colombian culture reflects centuries of mixture and regional diversity. Spanish is the official language, but Colombia also recognizes Creole, English, and dozens of indigenous languages at regional levels. This linguistic diversity hints at a broader cultural complexity. Colombian cuisine changes dramatically by region. Coastal dishes may feature fish, coconut, and plantain, while Andean meals are heartier and shaped by altitude and agriculture. Music is equally varied, from cumbia and vallenato on the Caribbean coast to salsa in Cali and many local folk traditions across the country. Religion, art, festivals, and family life carry influences from indigenous civilizations, Spanish colonial society, African diasporic communities, and later immigration from Europe and the Middle East. Colombia is not culturally uniform, it is a mosaic. From the 1960s onward, Colombia experienced a long and painful period of internal armed conflict and political violence. The conflict involved guerrilla groups, state forces, paramilitary organizations, criminal networks, and communities caught in between. It was shaped by inequality, land disputes, Cold War politics, narcotics trafficking, weak state presence in remote regions, and cycles of retaliation. By the 1990s, violence had escalated severely, damaging Colombia's international reputation and deeply affecting daily life in many areas. Yet Colombia's recent history is also one of gradual improvement. Since 2000, the country has made gains in security, institutional stability, rule of law, and economic development. These gains have not erased the conflict's legacy, but they have transformed what many Colombians believe is possible. Colombia has also built one of South America's most diversified economies. It is the third largest economy on the continent and has been recognized for macroeconomic stability and favorable long-term growth prospects. The country exports energy resources, coffee, flowers, minerals, agricultural goods, and manufactured products, while also expanding services, finance, tourism, and technology. Colombia's economic geography is varied. Ports connect it to global trade, highland cities concentrate finance and administration, and rural regions support agriculture and resource extraction. Its healthcare system has received major international recognition, including high rankings within the Americas. Like many countries, Colombia faces inequality, informality, and regional disparities, but its economic trajectory is no longer defined only by crisis. It is increasingly defined by resilience and institutional capacity. One of Colombia's most striking modern developments is its position on social and legal rights. The country has become one of the more progressive in the world in several areas, including LGBT rights, gender equality, reproductive rights, euthanasia, and animal protections. Same-sex marriage and same-sex adoption are legal, abortion has been legalized under broad protections, and euthanasia is legally recognized under regulated conditions. These changes did not happen without debate. They reflect the role of courts, civil society, activism, and shifting public values in a country often seen from abroad mainly through the lens of conflict. Colombia's social progress shows a different side of the nation, one where constitutional rights, legal reform, and public advocacy have helped reshape the boundaries of citizenship. Colombia is one of the world's 17 megadiverse countries, and by biodiversity per square mile, it ranks at the very top. Its landscapes include the Amazon rainforest, Andean highlands, grasslands, deserts, Caribbean ecosystems, and Pacific rainforests. This variety makes Colombia a global ecological treasure, home to extraordinary numbers of birds, plants, amphibians, mammals, and insects. Biodiversity is not just a scientific fact, it is tied to indigenous territories, climate regulation, tourism, agriculture, and national identity. Internationally, Colombia participates in organizations such as the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, the OECD, the Organization of American States, the Pacific Alliance, and the Andean Community. It is also a NATO global partner and a major non-NATO ally of the United States. Colombia's story is still unfolding, but its importance is already undeniable. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.